Hello, welcome back to Finance Masterclass. This is weekly Forex forecast, and we are going to be reviewing the trades that we are going to trade for the coming weeks. We are going to be looking at a lot of trades, a lot of pairs that we are going to trade. Some currencies for this week are absolutely good for fast trading to make your quick cash as quick as possible. So we are going to be looking at some of them. Right now we are on the silver chart, and this is the weekly chart of silver. As you can see on this chart, as I've already marked it, and there's a lot of opportunities that I can figure out from the chart as it is. Now we are going to be reviewing it one after the other for us to know exactly what we gonna do in order to make a quick cash. Now, as you can see from the weekly Forex focus, from the weekly Forex chart here, you can see that the silver has been on a bull run from this point. From this point that you are looking at here is when silver took off, and since that time it has been moving up. So silver is positioned on the upside. All right, that being the case, you can see that it has already formed what we can actually call a triangle, where you see these two bottoms here. This double bottom here at the top here, and this another double top at this moment. So what I can tell you that silver is doing now is it is moved considerably upwards and is trying to retrace backwards a bit. So after that retracement, there's going to be a massive buy. So where is the best time for us to start buying? So that is what we are going to be looking at now. So from what I can see here, you see the silver has made double top and the double bottom, and it's now retracing backwards. So from what we can establish with this weekly chart is that the position is towards the upside. So silver is going to move to the upside. But when is the right time to start buying? That is what we need to ask ourselves. If you look at this place now, you will see that there has been a breakout. So this is weekly Forex chart and the weekly chart. So this move that we are looking at is a very big when you compare with a lower time frame. So there's a channel. So the pair silver has broken out of this channel, and that is quite indicative to you that the pair is going to the upside. All right, so what we can do now is pinpoint the right place and the right time to place our trade. Right now the silver is retracing backwards, and this is the 200 moving average of silver. It is sloping upwards. Whenever this moving average is sloping upwards, it's an indication to you that we are in uptrend. So right now we are still in uptrend, and make no mistake about that. So the best thing for you to do is to be looking for trades that are positioned for a buy, looking for entries, buy entries. That is the best safer option for you to trade at the moment. So now let me look at the daily time frame. Okay, from the daily time frame, the story is the same because of this double top here. Because of this double top that you can see here, the pair is absolutely retracing at this moment. So the silver is still going to go up again and challenge that top, and eventually it's going to break out of that top. But for the moment the top has been able to withhold it for temporarily. So what I will do now is to go to the 4 hours time frame. Right, from the 4 hour time frame, you can see this is a trend line moving to the upwards, and each of the points in this trend line has shown that the trend line is actually working from this point the trend line has shown resistance. It has continued to show resistance. It has continued to show resistance actually. So now they have all hit the top of that trend line and they begin to come downward. So what are we supposed to do at this moment? Let us see what we should be thinking of doing at the moment. So what I think I should do now, let me see. Perfect. Perfect. You can see this trend line. It has been working here at the point of intersection of this trend line. It became a resistance here, so there was a massive reaction that pushed to the downside because of this trend line. So at this juncture, there was a breakout of the trend line, and thereafter, after the trade again returned to the trend line here, to the base of the trend line, it was a massive buy. Then it moved up again, come down towards the trend line. Anytime it comes towards the trend line, just notice what happens. There is always a massive buy. So now, at this point, it moved from here, and then it traces back to that trend line. There was buy. There was buy. Each time there was buy. Each time there was an attempt to come towards that trend line, there was buy. So what are you going to do? It shows us that this trend line is absolutely reliable, and we can begin to place our buy trade along this line of the trend line. So what we are going to do now is position. Now the trade is coming towards the trend line. We should be getting ready, and the moving average is sloping upwards like a wedge that is going to hold the falling candles. So let us begin to position ourselves to buy along the line of this trend line. Let me apply Fibonacci retracement. From Fibonacci retracement, we can notice that that line that we are looking at, this trend line, is around 50% Fibonacci retracement. Look at it here, this line is 50% Fibonacci retracement. So at this point, 50% is very powerful. So our trade is going to be fine around this region, 50% retracement. So that is where all we are likely to use in order to engage this trade. So we are going to be buying around this area that corresponds with this trend line. So but the whole of this zone here is still within our buy zone. For any reason the trade comes down a bit behind the trend line, we are still in our buy zone and there's no need to panic. So you can only panic if this trade breaks the 61.8 retracement of the Fibonacci. So around this zone, we can still allow our trade to be hovering around this area or until it takes off again. But the rest assured that this top here is going to be retested again, and that is when we poised to make our big gain. So if you buy anyway around this zone, and then you will be expected to take your profit at the top here. So we expect that the next testing of this top, we're going to be led to the breakout of the resistance here. So with that being said, it means that the buy trade for us is going to really work out. So we are poised for that. All right. Moving on. This is gold. And let's also look at the monthly chart of gold. This is the monthly chart of gold. From the monthly chart of gold, what can you see here? This shows you what gold has been doing up to this moment. Gold has made a massive move towards the upside, moving in a traditional, bullish momentum. Look at the way it appears at the moment. Look at how the movement is very easy to predict. It has been moving in this fashion. So that is a clear uptrend, moving a series of a lower low and a higher high. So what are we expecting to see on this movement? So that is what you're going to see good making. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Overall, movement continues to the upside. That is what we are going to see. And what you're going to see for the coming weeks and the following weeks ahead. Gold will continue to move in this fashion. And there are a lot of reasons for that. So let's continue. This is the monthly chart of gold. And the monthly chart of gold shows us a very powerful, strong, bullish momentum. But we are not going to take anything away from that. So let's look at the lower time frame. This is the weekly time frame now. From the weekly time frame, the journey becomes clearer and clearer. You can see that gold has moved up and is now on charted waters. Gold has reached the apex at around $2,680. $80. So at this level, more than $280 gold has reached and is beginning to retrace back. So what are we expecting to see? This retracement is going to continue for a while, at least temporarily. So we are seeing this retracement in monthly chart. You may not be able to notice it because the chart takes a long time for you to see effect on it. So that is the importance of looking at the lower time frame, so that you'll be able to make out a strategy from the the intricate details that you'll be noticing. So now what are we going to do? You see the gold is now inside these two horizontal lines. So this first horizontal line was a breakout of the resistance level, and the top here is also resistance. So now we expect this gold movement to be revolving inside these two trend lines, inside these two horizontal lines, all right, which you can also call a channel if you wish. So let's look at a daily time frame. For the daily time frame, the channel we've been looking at for a long time has continued, and then gold has begin to show a temporal weakness. From here, from this angle, you can see that gold has not really been able to break out from this channel. So from what we see now, gold has formed a triangle. This is a triangle, so we don't know what's going to happen with this triangle, whether it's going to break down from the triangle, whether something like this is going to happen on the triangle, or whether it's going to be something like this. This remains to be seen, but all the same, anything is going to happen with this triangle. So what do we do now? And this junction, let's remove the triangle and still continue to look at it in various fashion until we make our final choice on what we should do. So gold is still retracing downwards, and we are getting ready for a buy. So the deeper it retraces downwards, the better for us, because it will mean that we are going to place our trade and then aim higher. So our profit is going to be high. The question is not whether we are going to buy, but when. It's not whether we buy, but when, and exactly which time are we going to start buying. And I want our buying to coincide at the time where also the hedge funds and the money managers are beginning to come into the market. At this point in time, they are playing calm. That is why you see the trade moving somehow sluggishly. But at a time after gold has retraced, considerably, you are going to see a massive, spiral to the upside. So that is what is going to happen. We're going to look at also. This is the 4-hour time frame, and we are now almost at the horizontal at the support level. We are now very close to the real support level. So this line is going to be a very big support level, and the trade is approaching it. We look at okay, this is the 1-hour time frame, while I'm still going down the lower time frame is to pick out exactly when are we supposed to start buying, because as you can see, gold is in uncharted water. It has moved tremendously upside to the extent that reaching levels that it has never reached before. So that is good for you. And at this time, gold has begun to retrace back, which is mainly due to effects of profit taking. Because of how far gold has done, many people are now satisfied with the profit they have made, and they have begun to take profits on gold. So that's why you see this retracement. That at a certain time, the people that have taken profit, including the big players, they are going to come back into the market, they'll place their trade again, and that's when you see gold shoot up again to the upside. So we are going to expect that these levels, gold is going to revolve around these levels. So this is a rectangle. So you see here, it was a resistance. All of these top are resistance, and the bottom are support areas. So we are going to position ourselves to place our buy between these areas, these two horizontal lines. So when we place our buy downwards, we expect it upwards. So what I expect to see is any trade around here, any movement around here, any formation of candle around here, that will look, when I see a bottom from here. So that is what I'm looking at. I'm expecting a bottom also to form around here. So if that being the case, we expect to be patient enough to take our profit anywhere around this region to the upside. So we are going to allow a buffer zone. So I will not place the take profit level on this point. I'm not going to allow it to reach this point, but I will expect take profit to be anywhere around this zone, which is still good for us. Okay, so any sort of bullish candle here, any sort of bullish candle around this zone is going to be good for buying. So watch out and see what happens. So but make no mistake about it, buy trade is the best option for gold at this time. If you look at the geopolitical tensions that are happening all around the world, starting from wars in Israel against Hamas and against Hezbollah, against the Houthis in Yemen, and ultimately against Iran itself, there is a kind of high tension. Everywhere is tense, and there's rumors that war is going to be the eventuality of it all. You can see Iran has launched several ballistic missiles against Israel, and at this moment we are waiting retaliations from Israel, and any form of retaliation from Israel is going to spark a further retaliation from Iran, and there will be a cycle of tensions which will continue to go on and on, and these tensions are going to be supportive of a movement of gold to the upside, because gold tends to drive well during periods of uncertainty and periods of confusion. During periods of a crisis, that is when you see gold begin to perform extremely well, because gold is a currency that people tends to rely more on during the time of adversities, because of the value of gold. The value of gold does not deteriorate easily, so that many countries use it as their reserve currencies. So a lot of countries has gold reserves and as a backup for their currency. So I'm expecting gold to continue to perform well during this time, because of the issues I've enumerated above, because of the crises that are going on around the world. Don't forget, the Russia and Ukraine war is still ongoing. So we are expecting this situation to continue to drive gold towards the upper spectrum. All right, so any movement towards the downside is going to be regarded as a temporal movement, while the ultimate movement of gold is going to be towards the upside. So position yourself when you see gold, begin to, move again to the upside by following a positive bullish candle. So now gold is retracing, but we're expecting any moment from now, other candles are going to form, and they are going to be bull candles. So if you see any form of bottoming tail bar or bullish pin bar around this area, that will just be the best possible time. This is a zone, it's not just an area. So any positive form, strong bullish candle forming around this area will be a signal for us to go long, and our take profit is going to be anywhere towards the top. All right, moving on, this is EURUSD. This is weekly chart of the EURUSD. As you can see from the previous triangle that we drew, the EURUSD has broken out of the triangle and is now at the top of this triangle. So this is what we can see at the moment. It broke out of the triangle, and the candles is still hanging above the triangle. So what does that connote for us? We are going to find out any moment from now, because we have to look at the lower time frame and see what is happening. As you can see, I have my trade that is already running. So all of the candles you see upwards have represented my gain, and that is what you see here. I have over $713 profit already, so which I'm going to harvest any moment from now. So what I'm going to do now is to look at the lower time frame and know exactly what am I exactly supposed to do. So EURUSD has been falling down for several days now, as expected. You can see that the pair has already made a double top here. So what's the meaning of double top in Forex? When you see a double top of this nature, it shows you that there's a fundamental change in the concept already. Shows you that the pair is gonna go down. So if you are well informed in Forex, by the time this thing made a double top here, you should have placed a sell at this junction. This is when you should have placed a sell. Once it got here and was unable to break this top, and then all of a sudden begins to come down, you should have placed your trade, and then anywhere around here could have been your stop loss. That means if the trade recovers, then here will be your stop loss. Instead of losing much, you could have just said you lose one candle here. That's all. But if you had been on a trade here and it fails to return back to challenge your stop loss, then it means that you are in the trade and by this time you would have made a massive profit from this trade. So this is a trade here, and that trade is what has been going up to this point in time. So exactly what is going to happen now, we are positioning for a sell in the EURUSD. So sell there appears to be the most probable trade for us at this juncture. If you look at this the trend line here, you discover there is already a breakout of this trend line. So here there's a top here, there's a support area here, and there's a support here. So there's a breakout of this support, showing that the momentum downwards is at least very strong. So what I will expect is that there will be a retracement back to challenge this trend line, to retest this trend line. So after that, the price is going to continue moving down. So that is it. That is what we are going to expect. So if I am to, okay, let me add the horizontal line. So this is a horizontal line. So I expect now that the pair has broken out. So what I'm expecting now is this movement to happen like this. So this is what I'm expecting, and this is the point of my, this is the point of my sell. This is going to be another opportunity to sell this circle that you see me drawing it. So let's wait for the trade, the currency to move up again towards this. So we are going to strike here and then take our profits on around this line. So this is the line exactly here. So let's not be too greedy. So this price now can earn you at least 100 pips of profit, and depending on the size of your the size of your the size of your trade you have, that will determine the number of profits you go home with. So if you are trading on a big lot size, you will be sure you are going home with a massive amount of dollars, but do not go beyond your limit. So it depends on the size you are trading at the moment, and depend on the money in your account. That also determines the lot size you should be able to trade per time. So that is it for EURUSD. Moving on, this is GBPUSD, and this is the weekly chart of the GBPUSD. And now we are going to be looking at our strategy to see exactly what we are going to do. All right, so from the weekly chart, you can see that the pair has been falling down. They look at this massive candle. This is a gigantic candle, red candle. It is a whole week candle. The whole week candle, 1 week, has been just, it ended red, and it's a Marubuzu candle, means that it is extremely red. It was just highly bearish, so the candle ended bearish. So that is indication that the bulls is taking the ball on their court. So the bulls is having a very few day and free day in the market. So we should not underestimate them. They are the one in charge at the moment in GBPUSD. So what are we gonna do? I would expect this pair to continue falling, at least until it touch this line. Until it touch this line, you are seeing, and being that is a week candle, one candle represent 1 week. Any fall from this point now, from the point where it is now at this moment, onto this line is going to be not less than 120 pips of profit, which is equally a very strong profit for you to take home. All right, so we are going to be looking at continuation of this trade until it reaches at least this line. All right, so let us look at or that time frame to see how we are going to play this game. All right, so let's look at the daily time frame. Okay, this is a daily time frame, like we saw in the weekly time frame. We are expecting the pair to continue to move down until it reaches this line. So expect at least not less than 120 to 140 pips of profit. That would be great. All right, so we believe that we are gonna make all our profit and then move ahead. So what where exactly do we think that we can start to place our sell trade? Because we do not want to be placing sell trades indiscriminately. So we are going to look critically to understand what we are supposed to do. So this is so I will expect any the trend line, a short trend line, to be moving towards this direction. So eventually I want to see a breakout of this channel. I want to see a breakout. So any sort of breakout is going to, be good for us. So right now it is moving towards the downside, and that's where we expect our trade to be at the moment. So, but there is one thing I am noticing now. I am looking at a situation whereby you see this point. I'm noticing a situation whereby the pair could make a run to the upside in this manner. That is exactly what's going to happen. So this movement to the upside will make some fellas think that the pair has recovered and it's now time for a buy. So this movement to the upside is going to be short-lived. It's going to be short-lived. So I will expect us to start placing our buy, our sell trade, to start shorting from this point, and we are going to take our profit on this line. So our profit shall be on this line, and it's going to be not less than 150 pips of profit. So that is the game. So we are going to exercise patience, allow this pair to move upwards, culminating around this resistance. There is a very strong resistance here. There is a resistance in that axis. So that axis has continued to maintain a resistance. So this resistance is what we are going to play and expect to our take profit around the lowest nearest support level. So that is the game we're gonna play. And right now, let me also examine what transpired during the impulsive run, applying the Fibonacci retracement level. You see this particular line here. This particular line here is when we want to start placing our trade. This one is when we want to place our sell trade. So this line is 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. That is a very powerful level for Fibonacci. So we expect to start selling anywhere around this zone. So from around this zone, expect that our sell trade is going to take place. All right, so hopefully we are going to make our profit, and then we shall be happy for it. So get ready for a sell trade on the GBPUSD. All right, moving on. This is AUDUSD, and this is what we call the daily time frame of the AUDUSD. So from the daily time frame, you can see that the pair is so bearish at the moment. Upon forming a top here, the pair is already going down. So it has continued to move down and down and down. So what are we expecting? There is no perfect trade on this. What I will expect is to trade a continuation of the downtrend. So our position for this week still stand on our position for this week still stands for bearish. So we expect something like this. So a retracement back to this previous resistance, another previous resistance, and that zone continues to be a resistance. So I'm expecting a movement to retest this strong resistance level, then after which the trade will continue downwards. So this is what is going to happen. It's going to move, retrace upwards a bit to retrace, then a continuation downwards. So this is a perfect trade for me. You can take your profit anywhere around this zone, anywhere around here, and that will give you no less than 130 pips of profit. That is good for AUDUSD. All right, so that's gonna be massive for us. Now let's look at the 4-hourly time frame and see what's happening there at the moment. So from the 4-hourly time frame, I will expect a massive a massive trade for us. So this is the 4-hour time frame, and the story is the same. So the pair has already begun to go down, and it's been going down all the way to this point. So there's a massive movement downwards. The pair has been moving down. So what is going to happen is you take this as one leg. So this is where the trade is at the moment. It has been moving down laterally downwards. So I will expect any form of retracement towards this resistance area backwards. So expect a slight retracement about 20-25 pips upwards. From thereafter, the pair begins to go down. So expect at least a movement of about 20-25 pips upwards. Then the pair will continue its movement, towards the downside. It will continue its bearish momentum. So this is our point of take profit level. Eventually, this pair is going to retrace, is going to retest this bottom. So make no mistake about it. This leg is going to be recaptured. So on around this area, we'll be looking for our buy. So if we see any candle of this nature, like a bottoming table, any form of bottoming table of this nature, it will make it for a perfect trade towards the upside around this zone. So we are going to witness something like this. So for now, we stand for sell for AUDUSD. So bearish, and so we have to join the BS in pushing this trade towards the downside. So the downward momentum still continues. All right. Moving on. This is USDCAD, and this is the 4-hourly time frame. So what are we gonna do at this point in time? From what I can see on the 4-hour time frame, the trade is so simple that we don't even need to move any further. So we simply, move ahead to continue to maintain our bullish momentum on the USDCAD. So by the time this trade was here, we said at any moment, from any time the pair breaks out of this trend line. This is a trend line that is moving from here to here. So we say when it breaks out of this trend line, that is going to maintain its bullish momentum. and it's going to keep going to the upside. So now it has broken out of this trend line, and what happened, exactly how we predicted it, the pair continues to move to the upside. Although it moves slightly at the time, it moved slightly at the time, and then it tested that trend line. So it came back at the point where it broke the trend line. This is the point of the breakage. So, and the pair came down here again. So that is what happened, and from then it has been moving to the upside. So what are we expected to see? So what I'm expecting to see is any situation whereby this trade we now, retrace backwards a bit. You understand? Once it retrace backwards a bit to retest this point, I would like to be a buyer around this zone again. So I would like to be a buyer on this line again, on this zone. So I'm expecting any retracement back to that zone, and then there it takes off. So that is what I'm expecting. If we can get that, then I will place a further trade on the USDCAD, further buy trade. So if you're already on this impulse wave here, from here towards the upside, I will expect you to be taking at least 50% of your profit at this moment, and then allow the rest to continue to run. So that is what I'm expecting for you guys. You take your profit, allow the rest to continue to run, and it will all go well for you if you can do that. So that will be a perfect strategy for you. But all the same, USDCAD is bullish at this point in time, and we expect that bullishness to continue throughout the entire week. All right, moving on. This is USDCHF. USDCHF, we have already made the analysis, and we have in mind what we intend to see. Okay, we were saying that once this pair, we made this analysis and we noticed that this pair has moved with a very strong bullish candle up to this point, and we say that any movement, any retracement from this point, any form of retracement downwards here is going to be good for SF. So we were looking at the situation whereby this pair is going to retrace back to these previous resistances that you found around here. Look at it, these previous resistances. So any action of this pair to come down towards this previous resistance will be good for us. So this previous resistance, this is where we want to see it. This will cover at least all of the resistance that we have found here. So there's a very strong resistance around this zone. Look at it around here, you see it around here, and then you see it again around here. So that is our point of our point of entry. So we see with this breakout candle, it has broken out of this resistance, and then we wait for a retracement. This is the retracement towards the previously broken resistances. And so I've told you before that whenever a Forex pair breaks out of its key resistance area, on coming back to that same point, it is going to serve as a support. So this here is going to serve as a support and as a floor from where this currency is going to pick up again and then move to the upside. So as this breakout has happened, it is retraced back to it. So from this point now, we are looking ahead towards the upside. So you can start buying immediately because the pair has already made a reversal here. It has come down to this point and it's now moving upwards. So you can start placing your trade immediately, and we are expecting the trade to be massive. So we are going to be expecting it to get at least, we are expecting to make at least 2 to 3 times what could have been our stop level. So you measure this arm from here, and then at least 2 times. So we are expecting our take profit to be around here. So all the trade that you're going to be seeing for the coming week for this pair is going to be towards the upside. Moving on, this is USDJPY, and this is the weekly chart of the USDJPY. So on what I can see on this chart now, I've seen the last candle move with a very massive momentum, bullish momentum to the upside, and it ended very bullish. So right now, what I'm expecting to see is any sort of retracement and then continuation. So from what I can see on the direction on the weekly chart, the direction is going to be towards the upside. So let me go down to the lower time frame in order to be able to confirm that. From the lower time frame, it is continued to move up towards the upside, and it's considerably, it has moved quite a lot, and I'm expecting it to come down again at least to the nearest key support level, and this is the line we are seeing here. So I'm expecting that this line is going to be retested. So this, I'm expecting a situation whereby the pair is still going to come down a bit towards this zone, and then from hence it is going to be retested, and then there will be a continuation towards the upside. Massively, I'm expecting the pair to be able to recover at least up to half of this bearish the former bearish descent that it made. This bearish move, I'm going to see at least a 50% recovery on it. So I'm expecting to see at least any movement towards here must be able to make at least 50 to 60%. So there is still room towards the upside. So on that note, the best thing we can do now is to begin to look for the perfect opportunity to strike, to go long on this trade. So what will be our perfect opportunity? So let's see okay, this is a weekly, this daily, still confirming the same thing. Let's look at the 4-hourly time frame. All right, let's look at the 4-hourly time frame and see what happens. So the retracement is already taking place, and so I'm expecting any form of discounting. So I'm expecting at least a change in direction. If we are going to get this trade towards at least the half of this candle, that will be better for us. So this, the portion I will expect to buy from. If we can get a retracement towards this direction, I should be able to to place a buy based on that. So let's be patient. Sometimes in trading, what you exactly need is a patient. You need to show high level of patience in your trade. So most of what we do in trading is waiting. It's a waiting game. You wait for the right opportunity, and when the right opportunity presents itself, that is when you are going to strike. So if you do that, it will be like a sniper entry, instead of just entering haphazardly in an uncoordinated manner. You need to do a precise entry. You wait at the right time and you enter with the right candle. So we are going to enter with a strong bullish candle around this zone, which will correspond to about 50% recovery of this bullish candle. All right, so that is what is going to happen, and then we are going to make our profit.